Hello and welcome back to another episode of GPs with Kevin McGee. On the offside of Scotty, how you going?
Yeah, g'day, Kev. What a weekend we just had, mate. That was unreal. Beautiful track, beautiful setting in Hooray. Hooray, is that how you say it, mate? Hooray without the Z or the...
Yeah, it's like a H.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Hooray.
Mate, and hooray, that's it. So, yeah, mate, plenty of action. I just laid on the lounge and in front of the idiot box, mate, and I watched it a few times, and obviously I went through the qualifying rounds before it, which it just kept giving, mate. It was fantastic. Like we said in other episodes, mate, the European reset, it didn't let us down, mate, as far as Ducati coming back out of the box, mate, and giving it back to Bezzecchi and the like. So what were your thoughts on it all, mate?
Yeah, well, you couldn't script it, that's for sure. You know, all kinds of weather conditions from one end to the other, full wet to full dry on Friday and Saturday. An absolutely berserk sprint race on Saturday. Um, Centre just won the Moto2 race, so he's gone from 0 points with 7 other riders at the bottom of the Moto2 championship up to second with his teammate, or just behind his teammate by 9.5 points, Manuel Gonzalez. And in the teams championship, they've absolutely skyrocketed past the Aspar team by 34.5 points or something. So they're killing the Moto2 class completely. So good on them. And centre ages, Joel Kelso, he's 18th in the championship, and I think he picked the wrong tyre for the Moto3 race. He was up there at the start, and then he just slowly drifted backwards. So, but it's a gamble you got to take, because if it works, great. But, you know, it didn't on that particular occasion. And then the same thing for MotoGP, like not as many airbags went off as last year, but, air fences, but the crazy sprint race that Alex Marquez won, Mark led it from the start, and then with 5 to go, Alex rode around the outside of him as a fast turn 8 left-hander, outbraked him into 9, and it was about a lap and a half later in turn 13 that Mark lost the front, and then all hell broke loose because it really started to pour down just before Mark fell off.
Yeah, mate. One of the talking points of the qualifying was Martin's brakes. Did you see him? Was there? You think that's like a fault in the design or human error? I mean, I go back to, I remember Laguna La Seca where I think it was Eddie Lawson's brake. That was human error. The mechanics put him in back to front, I think. But you think anything like that happened this case, mate?
Yeah, well, I couldn't really find anything out. I had a fair old dig around, and to me, when I was watching it, it looked like that brake was doing all the work. And like the commentators said on the site, we only see that on the night race at Qatar in the dark. You see that they're actually red hot because they're like 700-800 degrees, the carbon fiber brakes. So it's carbon fiber disc rotor and a carbon fiber pad. They're both the same, and they only work in a certain heat range. And it was overloaded for some reason, but because we didn't get much info out of it, it might be human error. And I was at that Grand Prix at Laguna Seca in, I think it was 80, 88 or 89 when that happened to Eddie. He broke his heel off one of his feet because he got flung ended up at the concrete wall, I think, at turn 1. So, yeah, that was simply human error. So maybe that's why we're not getting much news about it. And really unfortunate for the two Aprilias, because leading the championship first and second, and they just had pretty ordinary weekend.
Yeah, European reset, mate. Mate, to the race. Now, Marquez, he set the pace, and I thought, oh, here we go. One of my predictions was coming right. But his brother actually got around him, and it didn't look like, I didn't think Mark was going to be able to reel him in. and then it looked like his front tyre just washed right out on that turn. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, on turn 11. Well, the Spanish riders have massive pressure, self-inflicted, because the crowd's so passionate,
Mm,
and everybody's there, the family, the whole crew,
yeah.
pet dog, the whole lot, and they
Chihuahua.
they really do put themselves under pressure, and with your little brother going past you in front of everybody and the rest of the world watching MotoGP, 7 times, what is it, my world champion, and all the rest of the Marquez history. How he led so many races and won so many at the start of last year, and Alex was second. Yeah, he's my little brother.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
See, I got a couple of older ones too. So when we were kids, I got the shortest straw,
Yeah, yeah,
and
right.
but
Yeah,
they're
well,
good now.
I
And
mean,
anyway, so Mark got outbraked by Alex down into the turn 6 hairpin, and then I think it was half a lap, well, no, 1.5 laps later, he ended up losing the front, but it did really start to bucket down then. But Alex stayed on. He was in front. He was the first one to pioneer the conditions. And Mark was behind him and just basically had too much lean angle through the very fast turn 11, and the bike destroyed itself. So there was no chance of him getting that thing going again. And yeah, massive 25 points gone. But he was lucky to pick it back up, keep it going, and ride across the track. Admittedly, he waited till it was safe to do so, rode across the track at the exit of the last corner in the sprint race on Saturday, rode back to the pits, and that was just when Brad Binder and Bagnaia and that were coming in to change bikes. So it was all sort of calamity on the track as far as who was leading. And Mark just rode the bike back to pit as if nothing happened really, and jumped on the other
mm,
bike and went out. And then Brad Binder fell over. He was in the lead because he was one of the early ones to change to the wet bike as well. And ironically, Mark Marquez won the thing after being in the gravel at turn 13 halfway through the race.
he changed over right at the right time because it started bucket down when he had actually left the pits. So I think he did the right thing there for once. And funny enough, in our predictions, mate, I'd just like you to know that I did say Marquez would win both races. I believe I probably said, um, and sure enough, he did.
Well, one Marquez won on Saturday for half points, and younger brother won on Sunday for 25 full points. So
I could have
I
been
guess
talking about any one of them, mate.
you got it
No,
about a third right on the points
I
scale.
just said I
So
just said Marquez, mate. I didn't mean Alex or Mark. I just thought it was going to be either one. So
it's
yeah,
like your report card. You get 33 and a third percent. You're not doing that well.
but you know what? You know what? It's great. It's great for the sport over there as well to see a Spaniard, a local, win, and the crowd was fantastic. But just the whole layout, the track that looked beautiful, even those light blue lines on the track just looked fantastic, mate. It just, I don't know, it just showcases what MotoGP is all about, mate. I thought anyway.
That's
And
definitely a good show. No sweat about that. And they're proud of what they do. That's why.
yeah, yeah. No, mate. So what about Bez, mate? What like he finished in second on the race day on the Sunday, but in saying that he couldn't really make a dent on Alex for a fair while, all the way through the race, really.
Yeah, well, Alex won there last year. Now to taste of it, and he's hit the ground running. I believe they're not changing the bike settings very much. And
No.
when you feel good when you roll it out of the truck, which they can now instead of getting them out of the air freight crates.
Yeah.
So they're happy, like you said, with that Euro reset. And they roll them out of the trucks, and it's just they hit the ground running from free practice one. And that just gives you a whole lot of confidence. Your track time's more worthy because you're on the limit more often every lap,
Yeah.
every corner, not trying to solve a problem with suspension or stuff like that or geometry. So every single corner and lap becomes more valuable and you feel more comfortable. There's not much comfortable about riding a MotoGP bike flat out, but you feel more at one with the bike, which Center Ages was just absolutely grafted to
Mm,
that
mm.
Calyx because he was just skating it across the curbs. It was moving around underneath him, but everything was just silky smooth, and he
He
was
looks
just
like
on it.
he's been doing it for years. He was just fantastic, wasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
But
He's
like,
20, so he has been doing it for years.
yes, thanks, mate. No, but I think we were talking about it. I was just hoping that hopefully he'll stay back in Moto2 for another year, and I realise you've got to go up when the offer's there, but like I was saying to you last time, that I think of Remy Gardner every time that happens. Even though Remy was world champion, he left and he went straight to MotoGP. I just thought he probably stepped off too soon, and then he obviously ended up in World Superbike. But I know we want an Australian to be there in the top grade, but in this case, I think Senna should probably stay for another year, even though I don't know whether anybody's has even tempted him to go up. But but he just looked very, very comfortable on that bike, mate. Very nice style.
Yeah, he did for sure. And the talent spotters will be there. He's definitely massive amount of talent. Um, and he'll be headed that way. I completely agree with what you're saying as far as too soon. Sometimes you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Um, Remy's a good example. And some other guys, they just can't ride a MotoGP bike properly. Like some of the 250 guys never could get on a 500 and go quick. It's sort of similar. It's just the person. I'm not saying that about Remy because it depends what team you get. It depends what the equipment's like, and all that stuff, and the
Mm.
level of the engineers and so forth around you. So, excuse me, there's a lot of factors in it whether you're successful or not when you move up. So it's
Yeah.
not just whether you can ride a bike or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about Casey. He went to LCR, didn't he? When he first came up, and he just crashed and bashed his way through that first season. Then he got onto something. I think he went onto the Honda then, and he really started to catapult his career.
Yeah, well, that was more back in the day when there was a step between the satellite team and the factory team.
Yeah,
The factory
yeah,
teams were, at least a step better
yeah,
with their equipment, and the satellite guys suffered. And Casey, you could never accuse him of not trying hard, and
yeah, yeah.
that was the result there. And good on Casey for doing so. And seen that with some other riders, or some other riders won't put it on the line like that, and they're just down the field. So Jack was a bit the same when he went to the
Yeah.
Estrella Galicia team on the satellite Honda there. So Jack was having a fair few crashes on that. Then he got on, what did he get on next? KTM or the Ducati? And started getting some really good results, and it rolled on from there, but he was never going anywhere on the blue Honda.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Now, mate, one rider, and I love to watch him because I love his character, is Zarco, and performed really well in the sprint race, but also the main race. I was watching him in the main race, and I think he was
It's
in
not the
like,
main race, Scotty, it's the Grand Prix.
oh, fuck,
It's a
right,
Saturday
mate.
sprint and a Grand Prix. A Grand Prix, I looked
Uh,
up the definition.
no, no,
Grand Prix is long distance, excellence, all the best stuff you can have. Saturday's
righto.
just a race because it's just a race. Like there's a greyhound race Monday night at the
Oh,
showgrounds.
righto. Okay, all right, mate.
It's not a
So,
greyhound Grand Prix, it's a
uh,
greyhound race.
all right. So you don't try as hard, huh? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, right.
No, I'm not saying
No, mate.
anything. I'm just
Well, mate, Mr. Ducati wouldn't be happy, mate, if you were just sitting there going for another race. It's got to either be a G, and the points now, mate. The points, you can't just go out
but
there and have a
but
race
that's my
anymore, can
point.
you?
You only get 12 and a half for a race, but you get a full 25 for a long distance Grand Prix. It's like 110 kilometres instead of 50. 50 is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
riding down to get some milk.
Yeah, well, no, that's right. And I suppose that's where, your brain matter comes into it. Like, as far as 12 laps on a Grand Prix, and you were saying before, they're not comfortable things to ride, are they? That you're just sitting on a bit of fiberglass, really, and a little tiny bit of rubber, and it's just sending you down the track a
Not much
million miles.
fiberglass. That's too heavy. They're all carbon fiber and titanium.
Oh, fuck, righto, mate. Anyway, they used to be fiberglass, mate. So I mean, to do 12 laps, you'd sort of throw the bike into areas that you probably wouldn't normally do on a long Grand Prix, on a longer Grand Prix. But they look like they got into it on that sprint race. That was a fantastic race, mate. Had everything. Bit of rain, bit of the weather played a big part in it. It just got patchy by the looks of it, and then the rain come pouring down. So, the tyre, everything else come into it, don't they, mate?
Yeah, both of them, because they started on slicks and then they ended up on the wets, obviously, because they were just doodling around on the slicks before they come in, and then there was a few crashes. So unfortunately, Jack didn't get to strike his sort of trademark on those trying conditions with in between and patchy and from full wet to full dry, or reverse, full dry to full wet. So Jack had a bit of a bad run that weekend. So hopefully this weekend in France is better for him.
Why do you think though? I've always wondered that. Really, I get that there's different scenarios for different riders, but you think back to like Vermeulen, Jack, Zarco, great riders in the rain. I mean, why is that? Is they do more practice in it, or is it areas that they come from? Obviously, it rains in France a lot, but anyway.
Especially at Le Mans on MotoGP weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is forecast, by the way.
Yeah,
I
right.
checked on that, so we'll see if that eventuates over what was 2 weeks. So we'll see on that. But it's just the rider's feel. If you feel comfortable, it's actually great fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like when I was saying before about center ages in the dry on the Moto2 bike. It's just fluid motion. You can feel the front contact patch, the back contact patch.
Yeah.
And you know what they're doing. They're like the tires are talking to the road and letting you know through the feeling you've got in your bum and your feet and your hands on the handlebars. You're just connected with it. And if it's not like that, it's hell. It is, because you're just going to just be spat down the road any second because you can't feel what the tires are doing. So, and some riders are better at tire to road feel. And that's
well,
that.
It's a completely different riding style as well, isn't it? It's very upright. You really don't crank it over. There's no elbows, or I suppose your knee would come in contact with it, but
it's good when you get your knee down in the wet. That's why they have those build up high rise, if you like, knee scrapers. We never had those, and you never felt good in the wet until you could get your knee on the ground, because there's a little bit of like a third wheel. You had a chance of saving the front if it just started to aquaplane a little bit. You could hold it up on one of your knees until you recovered it, and either run a little bit wide, or maybe you have to run off if you're in that situation. But it's better than going down the road and out of the race or the practice and losing all the track time.
Oh, that power band would have been vicious, mate, in your day, in the rain.
It was good on the 500 in the wet. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So the race, mate. The Grand Prix on the Sunday. What were your standouts there, mate?
I think, did you?
On
the standout bad thing was Bezecchi and Martin with his brake problems, and Bezecchi on that tear off. Alex Marquez tore his tear off coming out of the last corner on the warm-up lap, because you're not allowed to take him off on the grid anymore after Marc Marquez spun up at Phillip Island a couple of years ago. So Alex Marquez, obeying the rules, took it off on the last corner, out of the last corner, and it got caught on Bezecchi's front right-hand side aero, and they had pictures of it. And then he was just wiggling the front wheel a bit on the start line before he was getting ready for the start. And you saw it fall down, and it just, like a bit of paper, it just sort of fell down on an angle and swung under the back wheel, like under the bike in front of the back wheel. So when he did the initial dump, he had traction, and then as soon as it sucked in the tear off, the thing just lit up like mad. And that was 1 and 2 in the championships. Days spoiled. In a sense, he was back to 17th, so hard to recover from there. But Marquez done it a few years ago before he broke his arm. But anyway, the field's a lot closer now.
that was in Phillip Island, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure with Marquez, didn't it? Just dropped down
Yeah.
and sat behind his back, in front of his back tyre, and that made it spin up. Or yeah,
And when I was looking back through some of that footage to find some of that stuff, you'll notice a lot of the riders just before the start, they'll have a look down under in front of the back wheel to see if there's anything there. I noticed that because I done all that yesterday, going through all those races to find that one at Phillip Island with Marquez, and so the rules are there, but it just got carried ironically on the front wing and then just dropped down and it just played havoc for Bezek.
yeah. See, Speedway, mate, we use tear-offs a lot, especially on a muddy track. So it's a technique, because we don't have a long straight like you guys do to actually take the hand off the handlebar and release. And 9 times out of 10, because we've got mud attached to it, you'll pull one and you'll lose four. So it's a technique that it takes a long time to actually master, mate. So, mate, so your standout for that race, as far as Didger goes, he's on a Ducati. So we've got 1 and 3 finish there. So the Ducati must be walking around the pits feeling pretty pumped up, even though they were satellite teams, or is that what they call them now?
Yeah.
They'd still be feeling pretty good about that, wouldn't they?
Oh, they're going good as a manufacturer for sure. Aprilia is in front of them because they're just nailing it in the manufacturers. But Ducati be feeling good, but they've got the most bikes on the grid. They've got the most feedback information that comes into the development pot for GG Delinia and the engineers to go through. So they're getting more information. Therefore, they're literally getting more testing done during practice and qualifying and the races. And who'd be really annoyed would be David A. Tardozzi and the full factory Lenovo team, and obviously Mark Marquez and not Digi, Banyai are obviously disappointed with their results so far. And
His Banyaya's hot and cold.
Just fair call.
Banyaya's hot and cold, isn't he, mate? He just hasn't done anything really since he won that world title a year or two ago. So hopefully he can sort of claw his way back. Mate, so they did the testing there, so they all stay back in Jerez, and they did testing. Did you hear anything about that at all, mate? Any news to come back with?
Any goss on that? The biggest thing out of that it's a little bit of, hoodoo gurus or whatever you want to call it, but because they're all no private testing as such anymore, they just do it all together so they can all spy on each other.
Righto.
The big thing is that Aprilia have got these 2 little flutes for aero up where the bubble comes back and the carbon fiber strips come back towards the rider, just off over there. So minimal, but probably, they will have done a lot of wind tunnel testing with it. Minimal, but probably very effective. And it looked like they're designed to put the air around the back of the rider, as well as stabilize it, and would probably make it a lot less heavy to maneuver with that kind of wing on it. So they're going forward in that, but there's going to be less of that in the future. Ducati had some big aluminium cover on their swing arm, and so that's about it really. Not much to come out of it, other than Iagura is fastest, so he is really having a crack. Only a couple of tenths off Fabio Quartararo's lap record. So they were doing very honest times, and Iagura was in front of them. So good on him.
No, that's fine. That Trackhouse racing team, like you've said all along, they're starting to find their feet, and they'll be a team to be looked at and respected by the end of the year, I'd say, mate.
I think they might be second in the teams. I can't remember exactly, but I think they are coming second in the teams championship.
Yeah,
so it's Aprilia 1 and 2.
Yep, good American team, mate. Mate, Le Mans, I think you said before that the weather forecast is rain. That because they've got long, fast straights, their braking obviously comes into play at that sort of track. And I obviously with Martin with those braking problems at the moment, mate, you'd hope that they sorted that out for him.
Oh, well, that won't happen again for sure. Like I said, I think it was probably human error, but we'll probably get the end of it after it, pardon the pun, but cools down a little bit and, time
Yeah,
passes. But yeah, it's really hard on the brakes. There's a lot of hard acceleration and hard braking at Le Mans, which
yeah,
is going to suit Center just down to the ground because he was just nailing that at Jerez. And sort of looked like he was doing it pretty easy too. So if the
mm,
weather comes in, it's just going to be a total lottery.
yep,
The track is a little bit polished on the most of it because of the 24-hour car race, Le Mans 24-hour.
yeah,
So where you come onto the straight and through those first few corners, it can be treacherous there, and
mm,
up through that turn 1 and 2 and 3 through the chicane and under the Dunlop Bridge. Funnily
yeah,
enough, the Dunlop Bridge at France in Michelin country. Anyway,
yeah,
good on Dunlop. And
yeah,
then they disappear out into the forest, so the rest of it's sort of not too bad. So you're going to have to be specific on one part of the track and
yeah,
a bit less on the other part. But yeah, the hard acceleration and the hard braking is pretty
mm,
much what Jerez is.
yeah. What
Not Jerez, Le Mans, you goose.
Le Mans, mate,
Le
Le
Mans.
Mans. Yeah, we've moved on, mate. We've moved on. So probably suit your caddy, do you think? Well, sorry, it'll probably suit the Aprilia's being the speed machine this so far this year, anyway.
Probably the Ducati will be good. I think they've won the last three there,
Mm,
um, off the top of my head. So it'll be good for them because they definitely accelerate. But Zarco was sort of pretty good on the Honda as well.
mm,
He'll be all pumped up, as will Fabio Quartararo. But Quartararo, with the new V4, he'll be behind the eight ball at the home race. But
mm,
he might just turn the thing inside out like he did at a Reth and
yeah,
be in the running. So we'll just have
yeah,
to
yeah,
wait and see on that one. But it's a peculiar track. Let me put it that way.
yeah. Did
I
you
got them
enjoy riding
enjoyed
it?
quite good.
Oh, you did? Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I've heard a lot of blokes didn't really like it, but then again, it's long and fast and with tight corners. That's all I sort of know about the place. But
And we can't forget Joel Kelso at Le Mans last year. Third on the grid, got a cracker start, was up into second by the time they got through turn one. And then three-quarters of the way around first lap, hit the lead, took the lead off Max Quiles and led every lap over the line until the last one. And wrecking ball of David Munoz got a good rap sheet with just about every rider in Moto3 and the stewards, of course. Barreled into the side of Joel, two corners to go. Joel's off the track. Munoz is off the track. Rueda, the runaway champ, he just rode through the massive gap that was left. Munoz got second over the line, and then Joel got third, and the stewards didn't like it, so they reversed those two positions, put Munoz back to third, and Joel back up to second. But it's still not a win, but the form he's in at the moment, let's hope he's all good.
mate, so we've received some nice little messages on Facebook, and one of them is from a Matt Pace, and he had a question about the Moriarty leathers that you had behind you last week, and I just noticed, mate, because I've got 7 sets of leathers up behind me, you've pulled 150 out, mate. You tried to better me, you see.
Oh,
Uh,
it's all up to the floor manager. I'm just a
no, she hasn't
mug.
been there this week, mate. I know that. So is the Moriarty that yellow and blue one there? I think it is, mate.
The Moriarty, they're the
Moriarty.
Morawaki leathers from 1985
Sorry, Morawaki.
when I
Yeah,
rode
sorry,
the
sorry.
Morawaki with the great Rob Phillips.
Yeah, righto. But
The
they're
first Suzuka 8 hour.
oh, okay. Yeah. But they're the yellow and blue ones, right? That's what I would.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
the
couple
colour.
of yellow and blues in there, but they're definitely in there. I'll get them out
Yeah.
for you if you like.
Well,
Don't
no,
think they fit anymore.
I 100% guarantee they wouldn't fit, mate. None of your leathers would. I said, I don't even think your helmets fit that head of yours, mate, at the moment.
No, they'll rot it out on the inside.
So, as far as track goes, mate, there's not a lot happening around the world. Obviously, the Speedway starts on the 5th, which is not this weekend, the one after. So I'm sort of waiting for that. The World Superbike, mate. What's the bloke's name? It's out in front.
Bulliger.
Bulliger, yeah, Bulliger.
Yeah.
He's like a Pasecki is on the Grand Prix at the moment, isn't he, mate? He's untouchable on the Ducati. So what I think I asked you during the week whether there's any word gets back to the Grand Prix. Do they feed off each other's dynamics of the bike at that weekend or week?
Yeah, definitely, because he's testing the new 850. So he's trying to get back to MotoGP because, well, he hasn't got top rack to fight with in World Superbikes, who's won 3 world championships. So Bulliger's there on his own. He's nailing it, and he's making all the best excuses by winning completely across the board so far this season. So he's sort of given Ducati no excuse not to upgrade him to MotoGP next year for the 850s, and he'll have the upper hand because he's been testing it during the development process.
Yeah. Who else stands out for you in World Superbike, mate? Well, somebody could probably make the leap to MotoGP next year.
Yeah,
Stumped you there, mate.
Yeah, you have actually.
Nobody.
None of them really come to mind.
Yeah, right. So look, just on the ex champions of the sport, if anybody has any suggestions of who you'd like to see on the show, we have contact with some pretty great ex riders. So if anybody has a person that they'd like us to have a chat to, it doesn't matter what era it's from. Obviously, in Kevin's era from the 80s through, obviously like the Rod Phillips that he just talked about, Robbie Phillips, or the Steve Martins of the world, right through to we could probably try and get Wayne Rainey on the blower or Kevin Swans. Any rider that you'd like to just hear from and just see what they're up to in the latest part of life, let us know and we'll see if we can make that happen. Some cases we might be able to make it happen. A lot of people didn't really like Kevin. He was a bit of an arsehole to most people, so I could understand that. But so if anybody has any thoughts on that, just post your letter in Facebook and we'll see if we can make that happen. Yeah. Over to you, Kev.
A bit of other news, Taylor Ralph is over having a good go in the world's women's circuit racing. It's been running for a couple of years, so I'll do some more on that. And she's about 10th or maybe 11th in the championship at this stage. And I think during the races she's got more in her, but she's not getting the best out of herself yet.
Yeah.
And because in qualifying on the Super Pole charts for the qualifying points, she's in 5th. So she's got the speed, but she just needs to get over race distance. So go Taylor. Righto, so Scotty, what are your clear predictions for the Le Mans GP? Clear, not roustabout ones.
Mate, did you? I think he'll win this on the Ducati. I don't know. I just have a feeling about him. I love the way he rides and the passion he has. I would say that Marquez is due. Marquez, that is. But I'll have to say Bezzecchi because the Aprilias are just so fast in a straight line. Those predictions might come the other way around, but still that's what I've gone for, mate. Did you? Because I like Ducati. I own a Ducati and Marquez second and Bez third, mate.
Right, I'm going to step out of line. I'm going on the weather forecast. I'm going Jack Miller, Zarco, Quadraro, the 2 Frenchmen. So
You're an
they're going to
idiot.
get stuck right into it.
You're an idiot, mate. But, yeah, you're an idiot. I think you got that wrong. But anyway.
I'm like a farmer. I'm gambling on the weather.
That's right, yeah. I've been to your farm, mate. I've been to your farm, mate. Really. You got more crap around that joint than fucking cows, mate. So, anyway, well, that's all we have time for this week. Thanks for joining me and Kevy. And we'll see you next week.
Righto. See you next time.